Assalamu alaikum, guys. I pray you all well, inshallah. Welcome back to another episode of Align with the Divine. Today we're on the 10th juz, inshallah. Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وأطيعوا الله ورسوله ولا تنازعوا فتفشلوا وتذهب ريحكم واصبروا إن الله مع الصابرين. In translation, Allah Azza wa Jal says, and all of you collectively obey Allah and His Messenger, and let none of you argue so that you fail and the wind, the energy inside you is gone. Endure, have patience, for indeed Allah is with those who endure and have patience. This ayah, the context of this ayah, dear viewers, was that it was revealed at the time of the Battle of Badr. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveal this ayah? Is because the Muslims in Medina, when they set up the Islamic civilization, the ecosystem in Medina, they hadn't yet received a lot of resources. So they were small in number, the resources they had were limited. And usually when this happens as a collective, it's very easy to start arguing and become stressful and blaming everyone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the Muslims here, do not argue, do not dispute with one another on a futile basis. There's a goal to what we're working towards, and obey Allah and obey His Messenger, and you will, inshallah, through your endurance, achieve and attain the victory. What I want to go into here about the grammar is the word tanaza'u, just so I can try and convey the imagery that the Quran brings forward, is the word tanaza'u is not just like arguing and disputing. The point here is where you have two camps, because in Arabic, when you have a verb on the pattern of tafa'ala, it includes two parties. That's number one. Then tanaza'a, and then you have tanaza'u, which is a group, is you have two parties pulling at two different ends of the rope. It would be different if the Muslims were saying, you know, you guys pull and we'll just direct where to pull. But when the Muslims are pulling in two different directions, it's not going to go anywhere. And the rope's going to snap. And you need to hold on to the rope, because what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? The rope is in the Quran. He says, بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ. Hold on to the rope of Allah. The rope of Allah is the Quran, is the guidance. If we argue, shout, blame and dispute on futile basis, this rope is just going to snap between us. It's not going to hold us together anymore. So that's the imagery that is being put here. Dear viewers, there's something else I want to introduce which I think is of paramount importance, inshallah. There's something I want to kind of bring and make something common here, is the idea of operating systems. Now, I know that sounds huge and massive. I'll try my best to break it down, inshallah. It's nothing complicated. So, in relation to this ayah, a lot of what we see today in our world we live in today should actually be the complete opposite of what could have taken place in Medina if the Muslims disputed. Back then the Muslims had very little resources. Back then the Muslims were small in number. Back then the Muslims they established the Medinan state, but still they were developing they were in the developmental phase of that civilization. Now, dear viewers, we have got resources that can reach the highest sky. We are 2.2 billion in number. We have the most intelligent, sharpest Muslims that exist on the planet. We have huge labor force. We have, like, mashallah, the list is endless when it comes to resources. So then I need to ask the question needs to be begged, why do we argue? An argument is okay if it's directed and it's done within an operating system. And I'll explain that. But let me carry on this point. We fight as though, subhanAllah, we've got less resources than the Muslims at the Battle of Badr. We're 2.2 billion. The Sahaba radiallahu anhum never saw these numbers of Muslims. We're 2.2 billion. We're all over the world. Every country we exist in. So then why? Why do we fight? When our disputes happen, why do we attack each other? Why is there this YouTube beef? Why do we refute another with like hostility and write people off and expose people? Where does this come from? At the end of the day, we all believe in Allah. So the issue, and we all believe in Rasulullah, we all believe in the Sahaba radiallahu anhu, we all believe in, the glorious kitab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's not the belief. So then it has to be the operating system. And I'll explain that now. An operating system is a mechanism in which a belief operates. I'll give you two examples of this. So say you have the iPhone that exists here now, yeah? This is an iPhone. Okay, khair. iPhones all have the same applications. Photos, messages, alarm clock, weather. Cool. If I do not choose the correct or updated operating system, the iOS system for the apps on this phone, my phone is not going to function in a way which is in synergy with the apps. So my phone will start freezing. My phone will start shutting down. My phone won't be responsive to me. My phone will somehow like open and close apps by itself because the operating system isn't in line with the nature of the apps. And I feel like this is the problem of today, that we have Islam and Islam is beautiful, but the operating system sadly we've taken isn't in line and synergy with Islam. It's something that's opposite to the deen. So what is it then? So I've given you the example of the phone. Let me give you an example of how the Islamic operating system would look like. So the Islamic operating system, let's call it the visionary ecosystem, is like the human body, where all the nervous system, the organs, the blood flow, they all work together here. Because they understand if all of us work collectively, then this body is going to stay alive and this body is going to produce goodness. So let me go into the issue of like the biology. I'm not a scientist, by the way, so any science teachers watching this or professionals in the field of science, like don't shoot me if I'm not accurate. But anyway, if the kidney fails in the body, the heart doesn't start saying to the kidney, oh, you're a failure and oh, you flopped and because of you I need to work even harder. And no, the heart doesn't do that. The heart would go, it connects with the other organs and they compensate for the failing organ there. And then through the failure of that organ, when all the other organs come together and the blood flow comes together and the nervous system is putting most of its energy into ensuring that organ isn't failing, guess what happens, dear viewers? The body works. The body works. So what I'm trying to say from this point, dear viewers, is when we are in the field of da'wah, when we are in the field of our families, when we are in the field of our colleagues, yes, we may overtly show Islam, but we need to be very careful and sometimes double question the Islam I'm portraying and the Islam I'm illustrating. Is it on the operating system which is in synergy with Islam? Or is it for something else? For example, if you look at the world that exists today, all over the world, dictatorship is clear. So if you have an operating system, so we said that the Medinan model was a visionary ecosystem. Now let's take another operating system, which is the complete opposite, which isn't about connectivity. It's all about blame. It's all about like obsessive hierarchy. It's all about power and dominance. Call it the giant monster. Now that giant monster, what does it do in terms of how the world is run today under capitalism? It's all about hard control. Look at digital ID. Look at social media accounts that require you to put up like your ID and stuff. It's all about control here. Bank accounts, all about control. Very soon, there'll be a homeschooling bill that will be rolled out here. And what that homeschooling bill will basically say is you do not have autonomy to teach your children what you deem fit to teach them. So you must take the syllabus of the state and teach your children this syllabus. So then the parents then, and it's all misaligned, the parents don't get paid for this. The resources aren't provided. The bills aren't taken care of what the children use. There's no laptops and pads and iPads, electronics and books, no pen, no state. Nothing's given. It's just you take the syllabus in your home. And in fact, you're doing us a better job because you're making us decrease how much money we need to put into education. Keep them in your home. You teach our syllabus. That is giant monster. And sometimes we're not careful, dear viewers, we end up making Islam like this. We make Islam giant monster. Islam's not like that, no. Islam's nice and calm and connectivity. And if someone within Islamic civilization was to compromise on, attack or oppose the vision, that's where there's the red line. But anything else within that, we're one ummah. We shouldn't like dispute on a futile basis. And this visionary ecosystem mindset should actually build inside us a high degree of humility. Meaning, we're all together. Maybe my opinion that I've been bent on for so long, maybe there's ways where this opinion can be enforced and empowered by other opinions. Let me just have an open mind. Because if the heart, like I said, if the heart in the body was closed off, when the kidney fails, what's going to happen? The whole body is going to die. And this is what's happened to the ummah. That, mashallah, Islam exists, the ummah exists, but we are dead. We're not dead because we're poor. We're not dead because we don't have 2.2 billion. We're not dead because we don't have resources. We're dead because we're trying to fit Islam into an operating system that wasn't made for it. So I hope I tried to do justice to this. I hope I tried to unpack this ayah in a way which isn't maybe heard a lot or passed. So any shortcomings from me, all goodness was from Allah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us people of those who embody the correct operating system. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us like an ecosystem where we all care for each other, we all bring each other up, we cover weaknesses, and we all rise together. Viewers, Jazakumullah khair, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.